tonight I'm going to talk about the impeachment of Donald Trump. I'm sure we've all seen on TV that Trump was impeached. And believe it or not, there's still a few novices, I don't know any in this room, that thought impeachment means he was going to be gone. But the fact is, when you're impeached by the congressman, then it goes to the Senate where there's a trial, and the majority of senators have to vote to convict him, and then he's gone. And so obviously...
2/3.
Is it 2/3? You're positive.
I think so.
I think it's the majority, because they were saying they only needed like 2
okay.
losses.
Sorry.
So it's majority. That's because I'm the expert, I know. So anyway, as you all see what happened, tonight I'm going to just kind of go through some of the different things. So we all know Donald Trump, whether you like him or don't like him. I know there's actually a lot of business people that are Republicans, and that's fine. I'm a Democrat. But the fact is, we can probably all agree that Trump was a bit of a scoundrel, not a perfect human being. He's done probably some things that are illegal, some things not. There's been so many things in the press about paying off women, his previous businesses, and what finally got him to be impeached was his dealings with Ukraine. We're on a phone call. He supposedly wanted one of his political opponents investigated. In return, he was going to send the aid to Ukraine. And so this supposedly is what pushed Nancy Pelosi, who's the Speaker of the House. She kind of runs the House of Representatives. She's a Democrat. And actually for the last 2 years or so, the progressives in the Democratic Party, the more liberal Democratic congressmen and women, had wanted Trump impeached for a lot of these reasons that I just said. But Nancy Pelosi, I think she's 78 or 9, she's been around forever, and she knows how Washington works. She's liberal, but just the fact that she's been in power so long, she's very politically astute. So for the longest time, progressives were pushing her to impeach Trump, and she really didn't want to because she knows how the system works, and how it works is what I'm going to tell you. Now, as far as impeachment goes, like I said, Trump was probably guilty of some things, and in my opinion, just my opinion, you could probably find any president in the past 50 years and find that he did some things that were guilty of something. But the fact is, when you're going to impeach a president and convict him and get him kicked out of office, what you really need is public opinion. So I'm going to go just back quickly to Richard Nixon, probably, I'm sure, before you were born. In the 70s, the last U.S. president that was thrown out convicted. He was a bad guy, did a lot of horrible things, but what got him...
He didn't leave before the impeach, though.
Oh, well, technically he resigned.
Right.
But the reason why he would have been convicted if he didn't resign is that I'm pretty sure 90% of public opinion was against Mr. Nixon at the time. Now, Nancy Pelosi knew in this case with Donald Trump, it was about 45, 55, or something like this. She knew, as I said, she's very political astute. The odds of actually convicting him were very small, but like I said, she was pushed to have it done in the Ukrainian phone call, and for whatever reason, they decided to go for the conviction. So they impeached him, went to the conviction, and obviously he was innocent. So just looking back on the whole process, in my opinion, it was a mistake, because even though I'm a Democrat, I don't really like Trump. For one thing, the election is in November. So, I mean, how much longer is there until the election? If he's so hated and no one likes him, well, we could just vote him out in November. And the other fact is, I mean, if you don't like him, even if you don't like him and you wanted to impeach him, you should have looked at things logically, looked at history to see that public opinion was right now against Trump. Like I said, it was maybe 45 still liked him, 55% didn't. I think 90% of Republicans supported him. So Republican senators, why would they vote against Trump in the Senate if 90% of the people that vote for these senators wanted Trump to stay? So in my opinion, it was a mistake, but probably for whatever reasons, Pelosi just had no choice but to go through it. Another reason why it was a mistake, if you don't like Trump, even though you think he's guilty of these things, they just had a poll recently that Trump's poll numbers are now better than ever, because now it looks like he's won this whole process because, well, if he hasn't been convicted and thrown out, well, maybe he's innocent of whatever charges. So now, in my opinion, maybe the tables have turned and it has helped Trump, and also just the amount of time that was spent on the whole process in the House of Representatives, although it wasn't that long, I think it was a couple months. I mean, we pay these people, I think a congressman makes $180,000 a year, and senators make this. I mean, they could have spending a lot of their times doing much better things, working in healthcare, helping poor people, helping children, dealing with foreign affairs, so many different things. So all in all, even though I didn't agree that they should have impeached just because I thought it would fail, at the same time, like I said at the beginning of our Toastmasters tonight, I still love this country because of the process we have. So they tried to impeach him, we have laws that have to be followed, it didn't work, blah, 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 there's going to be another election. So in some ways, the impeachment for Democrats was a failure, but in other ways it was a test of our system, and it showed that our system, the judicial branch, the congressional branch, executive branch, which is the president, they all work and have their roles to play, and in the end, it's the people that make the final decision. So thank you.